Welcome to Wildcard Wednesday here on the Michele Tafoya podcast. Granted, that sound occurred about 24 hours ago or so. But my goodness, what a way to start the day yesterday. What a way to start the day when you hear that. Of course, the first time I heard it was bleeped out. And I thought, did he? Because if he had said, what the hell are they doing? They wouldn't have bleeped it out. So I was thinking, oh my gosh, did he really drop one? Yes, he did. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Michele Tafoya podcast. Before I go any further, please hit that subscribe button. You can get us at Apple, Spotify, YouTube. We'd love to have you with us every single episode, and we've got quite a catalog behind us as well. So please subscribe. Be part of this every single day. Okay, that one's worth rolling again. So this is in response to, there was a ceasefire between Iran and Israel, and then they both sort of broke it. And, I could just imagine Trump as a dad now. If you don't do what I say. So re-rack it and roll it again, Misty. Go ahead.
That have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
I'm sorry. It makes me laugh. You want transparency? You got it. You want directness? You got it. You want honesty? There it is. That's how this guy is. And I have no argument with it. You may not like the profanity. Okay. Fair enough. I'd like us to be a little bit more civil in our discourse, whatever. And I'm trying to cuss less too, by the way. But that was funny. He's mad at both sides. I was reminded today that there is no moral equivalency between the two. Like, Iran is not on the level with Israel. Israel is defending itself from Iran, who hates Israel and wants to wipe it off the face of the earth. So the fact that they've been fighting so long, yeah, but that's not really Israel's fault, right? Okay. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, it was just too good. Here's the argument du jour. They're trying to impeach Trump again because they say what he did was unconstitutional. And I guess Bernie Sanders was down in Texas doing one of his oligarchy tour stops. And he brought up that stalwart Beto O'Rourke with him on stage. Remember Beto? He ran for president. He thought he was going to be the next John F. Kennedy. I think someone probably told him he looked like him and he had the charisma and he could be president. Didn't work out, but Beto's not going away because this is too much fun for him. Whatever. I don't begrudge him that. But here's what he told this crowd. And when someone like Beto O'Rourke tells this to a crowd with a bunch of people nodding along, they think he's telling them truth, and it's not. Roll it, Misty.
This war that Donald Trump is waging in Iran today is an illegal war. It is an illegal war. And like all wars, we have no idea what is going to happen next. How many people we will kill. How many of our people will be killed. How many billions or trillions of dollars this will cost us over the years and decades that this war might take. And listen, folks, we still can't find the fucking money to help the veterans who served in Iraq and Afghanistan and Vietnam, who put their lives on the line for this country. Have we learned nothing?
Okay, Beto. There you go with your platitudes. We don't know how many people we will kill. Guess what, Beto? We stopped Iran from building a nuclear bomb. How many people might they have killed? We did it with 0 American lives lost. These pilots were unbelievable. They did a superb job, better than Tom Cruise, I think is what the president said. So how many trillions of dollars this may cost? How much might this save? Now, and by the way, your party, when your party was in office, Barack Obama just shipped the billions of dollars over to Iran on pallets. If anyone had had a spine to begin with, maybe Iran wouldn't have gotten this far and this close to a nuclear weapon. Have you thought about that? I'm not sure if you have, and even if you have, you've argued yourself out of it. You've done this pretzel logic that enables you to get up there and say, we don't know how many people we might kill. We don't know how many people Iran might have killed. What we do know is Iran is trying to kill people, namely the Jews and Americans. They've killed a bunch of us with no consequences. And within the last 24 hours, 4 or 5 more Israelis were killed at the hands of Iran with one of their bombs that they threw out there during the quote unquote ceasefire, which, made Trump very angry. So spare us all this, and we can't afford to pay our veterans. I don't know what you're basing that on. But your virtue signaling doesn't work with me. Now, there are some Democrats who defend what Trump did. John Fetterman's probably the most notable name, but there is a Democrat named Shabbos Kestenbaum, and he spoke up. And I'd like you to give a listen to what he had to say. Roll it.
I want to dispel one more notion. Oh, what about the War Powers Act? You don't have congressional authorization. You know how many drone strikes on foreign countries George W. Bush had? 51. You know how many drone strikes Barack Obama had on foreign countries? 375. He obliterated Yemen. He obliterated Pakistan. He obliterated Somalia. And the same people who were in charge of the Obama foreign policy, like Ben Rhodes, all of a sudden were concerned about Trump taking unilateral force against a foreign country without war authorization, without the War Powers Act. I mean, the hypocrisy is astounding. Okay, this is an objectively good thing. It's the preservation of Western dominance, of American hegemony in the Middle East. But of course, because it's Trump, we have to be opposed to it, right? That's why Hakeem Jeffries, the House Minority Leader, that's why Chuck Schumer, the Senate Minority Leader, they have to come out against it. Not because they actually believe it was a bad thing, but because they don't have any policies themselves to really campaign on. They don't really have a convincing argument for the American people, which is why they lost so poorly in November. So they just figured if we're just against whatever the current thing is, that will win us favor.
It doesn't seem to be working, though, does it? I mean, they keep coming out against everything. Every day, the protesters in the streets are waving a different flag. They're coming out against anything Trump does to make the American people, the people of Israel, the people of the West safer. Just, no, Orange Man bad. Mango Marauder bad. All of that stuff, right? That's their argument. It's really going nowhere. Frankly, I'm okay with it. As Dana Perino has said, Trump is blessed with a horrible opposition. And she's right. I mean, it's interesting to me to see a Democrat like this guy come out so vociferously in support of this and to acknowledge right up front, you're only doing it because you don't have any ideas or any arguments otherwise. This is all you got. And yet he still calls himself a Democrat. And I just wonder where that's going. You've got sane Democrats. We've had a couple on this show, Dean Phillips being one of them. We don't agree on everything, trust me, but he's sane. And this guy seems sane. Now, on the other end of the spectrum is the insane. And a couple of Los Angeles, my former, I grew up on the South Bay of California, which is basically my town's a suburb of LA. I'm so proud. Karen Bass has wrecked it. She's gotten a major assist from Gavin Newsom. But these are some of the thought processes. Now, I get you. This is only 2 people. And I think they're a brother-sister duo. They went on to TikTok and they basically asked Iran to bomb certain states, particularly red states. Roll it.
Dear Iran, this is my official application of states that you should wipe out because we did not vote for that orange Cheeto man over here in Los Angeles. Alabama.
Out of here.
Florida.
Out of here.
Arkansas.
Boom.
Oklahoma.
Get 'em gone.
Ohio.
No.
Kansas.
Gone.
Kentucky.
No.
Arkansas.
Red.
Tennessee.
Fire.
Texas.
Oh, double it.
Let me get my best friend out and then Texas. Okay, and my family and then Texas. Anyways, I hope you consider this application and really take it into consideration.
Out of here.
Okay. I don't take that seriously, but it's disgusting. So while Beto O'Rourke is up there saying, how many people are we going to kill? People who side with him and that party are saying, take out, just bomb these red states. Oh, but let me get my friend out of Texas first and my family members out of there first. And then you can kill the rest of them because they don't matter. They don't count. I mean, if those were my kids, it'd be out of the will. You can make it on your own, kiddos. There are a number of Iranian people who love what is happening. But they also have cautionary tales to tell because while they want to get under the jackboot, to get out from under the jackboot of the mullahs, of the Ayatollah, of the Iranian Republic Guard, whatever it is, IRGC, I can never remember, Iranian Republic Guard Corps, I think that's it. They want to get out from under that. But here's a guy who tried. He tried. And he decided to move to Canada, but things in Canada ain't what they used to be. Listen to him.
I'm a political refugee from Iran. I've been to prison, I've been under Islamic law, and I know how it starts and I know how it ends. And it always starts with the, for some reason, unity of left and Islamists, and it scares me. So I came here to be free. I chose Canada as my second home to be live in a free country. And I'm beginning to get really scared because the way things are going, it looks like they're going to basically appease Islamists just to not raise any ruckus or something. They're just going to appease them step by step, and they're not going to stop. They see it as a sign of weakness, so they're going to take more and more. And I'm against that. I believe Canada should be free, and freedom of speech is something that nobody can take.
And freedom of speech is something that's, to a certain extent, disappearing in the UK as well. As for the same reason, it's this suicidal empathy. Tip of the hat to Gad Sat for that description. But that's what it is. Oh, not all Muslims are violent. They're peaceful. I saw someone post today. Okay, you wake up, it's September 12th, 2001 in New York. The Twin Towers are still smoldering. People are lost. Thousands have died at the hands of Islamic extremism. And you tell someone in New York, hey, guess what? There's going to be a Muslim mayor of New York City soon. Because we're sitting here looking at that very possibility in New York City. All right, let me take a quick moment to tell you about a product that I love, Solaire Infrared Grills. All you have to do is go to besthotgrill.com, besthotgrill.com. When you go to that website, you'll meet my friends who make the Solaire Infrared Gas Grill, and it's just in time for the 4th, so declare your independence from the low-heat, low-powered gas grills, which in the course of grilling events wear out every couple of years. Secure your rights to juicy steaks, succulent chicken, and moist fish, as well as healthy grilled veggies. Pursue grilling happiness with the purchase of a USA-made hot, fast Solaire infrared gas grill. Solaire is perfect for today's busy lifestyle, securing its powers from the efficient, direct heat of the Solaire infrared burner, which reaches 1,000 degrees in just 3 minutes to lock in the juices and flavors and grill food faster. All stainless steel and welded construction, it is self-evident that Solaire could be the last grill you ever buy, making grilling great again with Solaire infrared grills. Learn more about these amazing USA-made grills at besthotgrill.com, besthotgrill.com, besthotgrill.com. So as I was saying, it's very possible that there could be this, I mean, the fact that we have this Democrat socialist, whatever that means, I don't think that has a consistent platform underneath it. I mean, Bernie Sanders calls him a Democrat socialist. So does AOC, and they're on their anti-oligarchy tour. But this guy named Zoran Mamdani, he would like to make some grocery stores in New York City run by the government. Let's roll the sound.
Grocery prices are out of control. The cost of eggs and milk has skyrocketed. Some stores are even using dynamic pricing, jacking up the cost over the course of a day depending on what they can get away with. It doesn't need to be this way. I'm Zahran Mamdani, and as mayor, I will create a network of city-owned grocery stores. It's like a public option for produce. We will redirect city funds from corporate supermarkets to city-owned grocery stores, whose mission is lower prices, not price gouging. These stores will operate without a profit motive or having to pay property taxes or rent, and will pass on those savings to you.
Okay. Have you been to the DMV lately? How about the post office? They're giving it their all, but when you have government-run entities without a profit motive and no competition, it generally doesn't go well. Folks, this is such a bad idea. I know that music in the background, and he's young and he's looking all, he's presenting all smart and noble, and the guy is a full-on Marxist. Anyway, this is what we're talking about. If you give this an inch, they will take a mile. And you don't want the government running things like stores. Now, he's calling it a public option. Like, you could still go to another store. You could still go to Trader Joe's or whatever. But this is the kind of experimentation that they'll do and try to convince you that this is the way it should be everywhere. By the way, prices are coming down. Today, I spent the least amount per gallon of gas that I have, the lowest amount I've paid in like years. So there's that. Okay, we get back to this so-called war. Everyone's trying to, is it a war? Isn't it a war? Is it a 12-day war? Is America in the war? Candace Owens, she had a massive following when she first came out with Blexit and the whole bit. And I don't know what's going on, but she's encouraging people to take the dishonorable discharge. Now, we haven't even unleashed a single boot on the ground in Iran, right? But she says it's okay if, even though you went through your training and you took your pledge of allegiance to the Constitution and to be a member of the armed services, come hell or high water, or come good times or bad, she's saying, no biggie. You don't have to see it through. Roll the tape.
LG19 writes, serious question, will there be jobs or community military members can join when I get a dishonorable discharge for not contributing to delete people or my body for the interests of a certain foreign nation benefit? I love this question. I do believe that if war in Iran is on the agenda, and that appears so, get dishonorably discharged. Who cares? Who cares? Why should you go die in a foreign land? You now have the benefit of 2020. You can see, think about those men and those women who died because they were pitched that they were serving their country because there were weapons of mass destruction, right? They were serving their country because the Taliban, they were serving their country, whatever, and these people gave up their lives. And ask yourselves, for what? And the answer to that question is for the elites. They're like toy soldiers. And I would have said a few weeks ago that Trump would never do that to you. He would never just throw you into an Israeli war. But right now, our planes are flying in the sky, and things are going nuclear. So I don't have that confidence anymore. And I'm comfortable with people being dishonorably discharged because the dishonor has come from our politicians. The dishonor has come from our politicians who routinely lie in our faces and are willing to let us die to serve their financial interests. So why don't they dishonorably discharge themselves from public office?
All right, she went around in a circle there. Okay, your toy soldiers, and they just want to make money. So she's buying into the military-industrial complex is a thing. But I don't think it's a thing here because I don't think Trump has any intention of putting boots on the ground. But put that aside for a minute. When you enlist in the Marine, in the Army, in the Navy, in the Air Force, in the Coast Guard, in the Space Force, whatever you enlist in, and you take an oath to protect the Constitution and protect America from threats, foreign and domestic, that's an oath, period. So, yeah, no one wants to die, and no one wants to kill anyone. Well, except Iran wants to kill Americans and Jews. So there's that. So it seems to me that the people who enlist, who go into the military, who go into service, hell, cops, FBI, CIA, fire departments are willing to put their lives on the line for the better good of society. Now, I know that sounds Pollyanna, and she sounds really edgy and cool. Hey, go ahead and just dishonorably discharge. Look, nobody wants war, and I think Trump least of anyone. So let's calm down a minute and see what shakes day to day here. I just can't agree with her on that. I just can't. All right, we've had a guest on this show a couple times. I love him. I had him on the first time as he was running for Congress in Texas, and then we had him on recently. He is something special, and I could see that from the very beginning. Well, he was finally invited onto Bill Maher, and I hope you got to see him, Wesley Hunt. First, he was asked about Whoopi Goldberg's insane remarks that Black people in America have it just as bad as women in Iran. Roll it.
My district in the great state of Texas is actually a white majority district that President Trump would have won by 25 points. As I said, I'm a direct descendant of a slave. My great-great-grandfather was born on a Rosedown plantation. I am literally being judged not by the color of my skin, but by the content of my character. That's the progress because, like, a lot of white people had to vote for me. A lot.
So wait,
I don't even ever want to hear Whoopi Goldberg's conversation about how it's worse to be Black in America right now. That's a bit far. And my father, who's 75 years old, he was a man that was in the French quarters that had to go get a sandwich to the back door of the building. And his son is now a United States congressman in a white majority district in Texas as a Republican. That is America. That's America. So let's celebrate that.
So many people don't like to celebrate that. I don't know why. Maybe it's because then they can't have their grievances, which are so convenient to display, and you can fundraise off of those grievances. I love what he just said. I absolutely love it. I've loved this guy. He is tremendous. And so Bill Maher goes on and asks him further about Trump wanting to put the name of Robert E. Lee back on buildings and the whole cancel culture of taking down statues and renaming buildings and so forth. And Wesley Hunt, again, hits a home run. Roll it.
Trump is putting the Robert E. Lee name back on buildings. I mean, are you down with that?
So when I was at West Point, I actually lived in Robert E. Lee Barracks when I was there. And as I said,
Robert E. Lee went to West Point.
Yes, he did. That's why the barracks is named after him. My brother, sister, and I are matriculated through West Point. We all graduated. And I'll never forget walking under the threshold of Robert E. Lee Barracks and think to myself, damn, this is one hell of a country. Because only in America can someone like me walk into a building named after a Confederate general and then be a successful West Point graduate. If we start changing the names on buildings, then every single building would be named Jesus Christ based on perfection. I bring that up because I want to talk about the progress, and the idea of us changing names on buildings actually doesn't harken us back to times where they weren't as good.
And statues,
and how
too?
can we not? Oh, I am, my wife is, I've been Black my whole life.
Yes.
So far, still. My wife is white, and we have 3 biracial children, and I cannot wait to show them and take them to places that wasn't always the case. There was a time when your mother and daddy could not be married. My children are going to have the opportunity to be second lining down in New Orleans, and then my wife is from Iowa. They'll be on the farm with their grandfather in Iowa. That is America, and I do not want to take down these statues and change the names of these buildings because they're a reminder of what was, and if we don't remember it, we are doomed to repeat it.
You know what? It was really interesting. Like I said, I've known this guy for a long time. We've been friends. And to see people respond to this and say, why have I never heard of Wesley Hunt? I'm so glad he got that platform to show America who he is. Because that is America. We've evolved. There's so much to celebrate. And there's still work to be done, to be sure. But I'm convinced that's why people keep coming up with new grievances. Like, what about non-binary rights? No one's trying to take anyone's rights away. And if they are, I take that back. They are trying to take away women's rights to compete against other women in sports. So there is that, that's a right we should be concerned about. And I am, and I will stand up for women's sports every day of the week. Here's a woman I don't really stand up for. Her name is Jasmine Crockett. She's a quote unquote rising star in the Democrat Party. What that means is she gets lots of attention for saying really stupid stuff. And in the wake of this attack on the nuclear facilities in Iran, she said this really stupid thing. Roll it, Misty.
And to understand enough about the Constitution to the extent that I'm the one that's supposed to make a fucking decision or at least get a vote.
Okay. Well, I'm glad she's not making the decision. I'll tell you that. She is so interested in her own performances. That's all that is. There's a woman in Texas. I don't know her name. But she's also black. And she's a Texan. I don't think she thinks Jasmine Crockett speaks for her. Why do I think that? Well, she put together this gem, which has gotten a lot of traction on social media. But in case you missed it, that's why we do Wildcard Wednesday. Roll it, Misty.
Texas, what are y'all doing? Are y'all really proud of the representation y'all getting from Jasmine Crockett? I'm serious. Are y'all proud at the way Jasmine Crockett carries herself in Congress? Jasmine Crockett is a racist, trashy, ghetto piece of mess. Yep, I said it. Y'all get mad at me all y'all want. I stand 10 toes down on what I said. I said it, I meant it. She's a ghetto, trashy, racist piece of crap. Jasmine Crockett's mouth is completely filthy to be in Congress. For her to be representing the American people, her mouth is filthy. She don't even know when to cut it off. I don't care what she say at home and how she talk at home, but when you're in Congress representing the people of the United States of America, representing the people of your district, you should know how to act and how to control yourself. Her mouth is ridiculous. Now, don't get me wrong. My mouth can be ridiculous sometimes, but I'm not in Congress. I'm not representing a certain district of people who put me in office. And you can best believe if I was, I would know how to act and how to carry myself. Even if you disagree with someone, you should know how to carry yourself. Jasmine Crockett is a piece of ghetto trash. And I'm so sick of y'all out here telling myself, oh, Jasmine Crockett is a strong black woman. Jasmine Crockett don't take no mess. Oh, Jasmine Crockett, she'll tell you off. Jasmine Crockett is a ghetto piece of trash who do not know how to control herself or do not know how to act in Congress. And it is what it is. I mean, are y'all really proud of this? Women, are we? Is this what represent us? Are these the type of women that we want representing us in Congress? I'm serious. I don't care if you're black, white, Asian, Latino. I don't care what you are. Is this what you want representing us as women? And stop lumping all us black women up together, acting like we agree with this bull crap that Jasmine Crockett doing, because we don't. Jasmine Crockett is a man. Texas, what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing, Texas? At this point, everything is a joke. This is a joke. The Democratic Party already is a joke. And if Jasmine Crockett is supposed to be the new face of the Democratic Party, she's supposed to be the new leader of the Democratic Party. Child, y'all in more trouble than I even thought. And it is what it is.
You're in more trouble than she even thought. Because, yeah, Democrats are in trouble. Big time in trouble. I love that woman so much because clearly she knows people who think Jasmine Crockett is the thing, man, that she is fire, that she is great at her job. But she begs to differ. And a lot of people have seen this video. And I there are some absolute idiots in Congress on both sides of the aisle. But Jasmine is, I think, trying to be part of the squad, trying to be part of that group of, she's auditioning for a show later on down the line, which is what she's doing. That's what she's doing. And that woman right there told you what's really going on. She was brave and she did good. And we end every episode of this podcast saying, be brave, do good. And we will see you next time. Hey, you can keep up with the Trump administration when you subscribe to the Trump Report. It's an email that brings you daily highlights from the Oval Office right to your inbox 5 days a week. Subscribe today at SalemPodcastNetwork.com/Trump.